All right. Okay, all right. Yo, how are you guys? We're making double-walled cups today. We're gonna make 2 of them. So this is the base exterior layer for one of them. And then we'll make the exterior layer for the next one in a second. I can't complain. I kind of wanted to make teapots today, but I have to take some kids snowboarding in an hour and a half, and so I don't have time to make one. So I thought 2 little cups, 2 double-walled cups would be more fun. What's new with you guys? Anything exciting? Thanks. I think this next cup we're gonna do for the exterior section, I think we're gonna make it taller, and maybe have a little bit heavier undulation. We'll see. We will see. James, I've been doing it full time since 2018, and I taught myself how to throw in 2015. So, 10 years now, it seems like, which is pretty crazy to say. Do you do any pottery yourself? Let's see if I can do this better than the other one. I think a big issue was that I was touching the top of the other one with my wrist while I was adding in the undulation, and it was making it expand more than I wanted it to. I see. I gotta say, a lot of the time we're in here, I drink too much tea and I don't eat enough food, so my hands shake quite aggressively while we're working. So, it is possible, though it makes it a little tricky. Alright, so there's our exterior for our second one, which, I don't know, whatever. We're experimenting. It's really cold in my studio. I wasn't actually planning on coming in today, but I was feeling very unproductive and I needed to make something. And the torch, if you guys are wondering, just speeds up the process so we can do this all in one go instead of having to do it in multiple hours or days. This is some bad porcelain. So I decided today, to not wedge in silica sand, which is something I normally do to this porcelain, because it kind of just gives it a little bit more strength, and I'm slightly regretting not doing that because the clay is just kind of falling apart. You see all these cracks? It's just kind of bad, bad clay, honestly. If a good bag of porcelain, I torch it like that, it shouldn't crack like this. But we'll take what we got. I knew this bag was kind of bad to begin with. It's probably 1 in every 3 bags I get is just trash. But we make do. So there's 2 positives. There's a positive to not adding in the silica sand potentially for aesthetically, and the positive is that it's much more smooth and the form kind of takes the glaze really nicely. If you add the silica sand in, it's really beautiful, but it adds these little dots, and I like the dots, but I'm kind of trying to think about moving back and forth between both looks. Yeah, you should make one. No reason to buy one. Though it would be a lot cheaper just to buy one. Between the lessons and everything, it gets expensive. So this red stuff is a black clay I was using recently that I ran out of. Made everything, it all looks nice, put it on my website. There might be a piece left, or a couple pieces, maybe, oh, actually I think there's like 4 cups left with this black clay. I went to go order some more today, and they're out of stock. I guess I should have bought more before promoting it, but it's okay. So this is the interior layer of the one we just threw. And so the first thing we're gonna do is check width dimension on the interior section so it actually can slot in there, okay? And then we need to get height and then move the top to the exterior width. So now that's the width of the top that we need to get to. And our height is about 2 3/4. So where are we at now? We're at about 2 1/2. So I think with this next pole, we should be able to get the height and the width on the top that we need. Yep. We'll go a little bit more because when we dry it, it'll shrink a little bit. I don't think this black clay slip that's on there, it's not in such quantity that it is gonna affect color or anything, so I'm not super concerned. It's so like minuscule amounts wise, so. Now, this one and the next one we throw have to be trimmed next, so I'm gonna have to torch them a little bit more than I did the other pieces. And I apologize for the sound of the torch. It's a horrible sound. I can't do anything about it. It speeds up the process, otherwise we'd have to wait till tomorrow to do the rest. Now I don't want it to get too dry. I need it to be dry enough that I can trim it, but wet enough that I can reattach it to the other piece that we made. So let's let this sit. Then we have to take the dimensions for this one, which is wider than that one. So the internal dimension is going to be that, and the height is going to be just shy of 2 1/2 inches. And the exterior is 200 grams and the interior is 160 grams of clay. Now usually I don't batch these. I usually don't do 2 at a time. I usually do 1 at a time when I'm doing double walled pieces. But for the sake of not coming back to my studio later, I'm just doing it like this today. Okay, we're about to be at width, and we're almost there. So the next pole will be the exterior, the top part that's going to be the connection part. So they're going to go, we need to gain a little bit of height and get out to that width. We're almost there. So the cool part too is because this is all porcelain, once it's fired, depending on the glaze I use, these will be translucent because they're quite thin. And the way I'm planning on glazing them should allow for that translucency to occur. So I'm pretty excited. All these are going to be like candy, like a Jolly Rancher orange, pink, hopefully purple, and maybe even black, like a almost like a black celadon, if that exists in the world. I've been experimenting with underglazes and then this really pretty chino, and then firing them in my wood kiln, which is always a fun time. And these will be out of the kiln sometime in like April, I think. That's probably my next firing. I don't have enough wood cut. All the wood that I have left is heating my studio right here, so I don't really have extra wood to spare at the moment. I could buy wood, I guess, but next thing we're going to do is trim these guys. We'll trim the first one that's not smoking. And I trim on a chuck these days. I keep seeing people buying Giffen grips and the footer and all these kind of like gimmicky trimming tools. All you need is a piece of clay. A lot cheaper than spending $200+ on a trimming apparatus. And for those who don't know what a trimming is, it's just kind of cleaning up the bottom. So essentially this is the interior section of that first one. We're going to just make this part round, and then this will slot into the first section that we made. So this is the piece that's actually holding the liquid. Also, I will be trying to stream over here more often. I usually do my live streams on TikTok on Tuesdays. Well, it's cold out. Usually I'm in here every day, but it's 27 degrees outside right now, and so I don't have the wood to heat my studio every single day. So I'm just choosing 1 or 2 days to be in here. So I will be streaming in here, back and forth between here and TikTok, moving forward. I kind of want to be on YouTube a little bit more. Anyway, there's my chop. I didn't show you guys, but just a little teapot. You probably can't even see it, but there is the rounded base. Now we're going to round off the one we just torched. I don't know if you can still see the steam coming off of it a little bit. Now, you may be asking yourself, why are we making cups this small? And there's a type of tea drinking that requires a small teapot and small cups. And it's kind of a meditative practice, as well as drinking, getting some caffeine. And you don't have to use cups this small, but it kind of opens up the possibilities to other cool objects, like different smaller teapots, different types of fairness pitchers, things like that. And it's just a much different way of drinking tea than with a Western teapot that you use a tea bag in. And usually the stuff's over steep and it's not super great. So, it's not necessary. These are all like luxury items, but it is, in my mind, a much nicer way to drink tea. When I see big teapots and things like that, I think of herbal infusions, not actual tea. And that's the only reason I use anything over like 500 milliliters. It would be for an herbal infusion. And here's just a little fun fact while we're talking tea. All tea is Camellia sinensis. So if there's no Camellia sinensis in it, it's not tea. So if you're drinking an herbal tea, if there's no Camellia sinensis in it, it's not actual tea. It's just an herbal infusion. And the difference in taste from these teas is where they're grown, how high up, altitude, how they're processed, and all those factors factor into the taste. All right. So, let's see if we can connect the two. And I'll be doing a flower pattern on the outside of each one of these. I'm sure I've showed in like a reel or something here, or short, whatever they're called on YouTube. Now there are a bunch of different ways of making double-walled pots. This is the less common, and probably you'll never see anybody else do it this way except for me, unless they're doing it this way because they saw it. Most people who do double-walled stuff, it's just a single piece, and they throw like a donut form. And that's great, and you can certainly do that, but it's really limiting aesthetically as to what you can do with it afterward. It also, those ones are usually a lot heavier, and they give off the same aesthetic look. Nothing wrong with them. It's definitely a different look. It's not for me. And I like light pots. I don't want heavy stuff. Then we undulated the lip to kind of match everything else, because it would be weird if the top was flat, but the rest of it was undulating. It just wouldn't fit properly. And I don't know what, I'm not playing music today just because I don't know what the deal is with lives on YouTube as far as music goes. I don't know if anybody in here knows what the deal is. I just didn't want to start and then just the video get stopped immediately because of copyright issues. So, Carissa, how are ya? I can barely read. I need to get my computer down in here. I wasn't planning on actually streaming on any platform today. I'm doing okay. It's been a weird month. I'm excited for it to be done. You know? It's been fine but weird. The cold has given me, like, I can't be in the studio as much, and I've been kind of struggling as to what to do that's productive enough. So I've been carving matcha spoons out of spalted maple that I'm going to make custom cases for, and they should be available in a couple months. Really excited for them. Oh, hey. How are ya? I'm glad you said that, because my brain is not putting things together like that. What's new? What's happening? What's going on? This thing managed to crack. That's I'm just kind of trying to pretend it didn't happen. Yeah, I'm hoping to get these cases like wood fired, maybe. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm gonna do. All right, let's put a hole in here. Oop. We're gonna do a flower pattern on all these. No, this has no grog in it. This is a porcelain. It does have malachite in it, but this is a cone 10 porcelain. That's awesome. That's super exciting. Do you have enough stuff for it? You ready for it? Always a good time. I was in a pop-up the other day. Just speaking of pop-ups, I did horribly, so I hope you do better than I did. I think I profited like $100 sitting there for 7 hours. I don't do well in person. I never have. Wow, this porcelain is just trash. I should have put silica sand in it or something. Blah. That's all right. We'll make do. Yeah. You know, what you gonna do? There was no advertising for it, and it was kind of like this last minute thing, and it was more of a favor than anything. So I didn't actually expect. I was hoping I would just make back the fee to do it, and that was about it. And I did. So I mean, it did as well as I expected it to do. Smart. This is probably a really kind of dumb thing for me to do, but um, I've just recently, in the last like atmospheric firing up my prices pretty aggressively, which in this climate is probably not a smart thing to do, but um, I really wanted to make more double walled stuff, and I just can't justify selling it for so cheap anymore. As much as I wanted to make an affordable pottery that was like really pretty, I just, like atmospheric one double walled, I just can't do it. That sounds cool. What kind of stuff were you hand building? Do I like the undulation on this one? Yeah, it's okay. That's good. That's a nice area. I can't justify selling anything for $5. It's my only problem. That's just why I'm kind of trying to start doing more wood-based things, because then there's no, like it, I can do that, but I can't justify selling anything from any of my atmospheric kilns for that price, even though it would be really nice to be able to do that. So it's interesting you said studio reclaim, because I don't ever factor in clay costs to my pots whatsoever. It's more about like labor and wood. Yeah, glaze wise. So these ones are all gonna get a spray coat of underglaze, either orange, pink, purple, or black. Then they'll be bisqued first, then sprayed with underglaze, then bisqued again, and then I'm going to very quickly dip them in a Shino called Gustin Shino, and then I fire them in my wood kiln, which is a wood soda kiln that fires to cone 12. And that's how we're gonna get those like candy looking flavors. Speedball has really nice glazes that seem to keep color up in those high heats. Purple I have not had any success with, but I want to try it again with a Shino on top, because I'm hoping the Shino will protect the color a little bit. And even if it doesn't, I like the Shino by itself on porcelain, so it'll look nice. So I'm not super concerned. But so I spray the first layer and I dip the second layer, if that helps. And then they're atmospherically fired, either in my wood soda kiln, the soda kiln that I use, the Noborigama wood kiln that I use, or the Onigama. But the Onigama, I usually use a black clay body. And I only fire that kiln in August, like around August 27th through the, well, I guess that kiln starts on the 24th of August every year, and it fires for 9 to 10 days. And that one I use a Fredrickson Chino for, on a black clay body. It looks spectacular. I also bisque really, really low. I bisque to 012, and I glaze incredibly quickly with very thin glaze. Those could be factors as well. Now, I used to undulate the foot, and I'm realizing I kind of like the higher foot. Gotcha. Yeah, if I was electric firing and I could just make a mold and then use like something like that reclaim wise, I could probably sell something really cheap in the electric kiln, but I can't justify it in the wood kiln. Even small things take a lot of labor as far as like loading and everything goes. All right. Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me then. Yeah, if you have those situations, that totally seems very reasonable to have $5 items for sale. Come on, buddy. Man, I've been in here for 38 minutes now, and my studio has not warmed up one bit. Yeah, it's, yeah, of course. I appreciate that. Thanks. I hope it works for you. Um, they have been really nice. I have to see, I don't know what it's like for mid or low fire, but I assume it's quite nice. Are you trying to fire to cone 10 in your electric kiln? Or are you using a gas or wood kiln? No. You gotta have to live in the middle of nowhere to have the setup that I have, which is nice for me. But you definitely couldn't do it. Well, you could. There was a dude I used to work for in New York. You just have to have like a disgusting amount of wealth. Dude had I mean, he probably still does. I don't think he has sold it, but I haven't kept in contact with him. And this was pretty much 10 years ago at this point. But he had a $350,000 Blau kiln in Gowanus, or does still have it. And has all these like crazy things. Yeah, it did. Yeah, right? I know, well, I don't usually throw much this time of year, but again, I was feeling pretty I needed just to do something today. I was feeling pretty lazy. I needed to get something done. Gotcha. Does that happen often enough that you get to put a decent amount of work into those firings, or you just get one-off firings because you have to kind of get into them? I will say there are some really nice cone 6 glazes these days. A student of mine has been doing some stuff that is as nice as anything from the soda kiln. Not from my kiln, but from the soda kiln for sure. Though I've also come to, here is a interesting realization I had not so long ago. When your stuff is too like juicy and precious and stuff like that, I think it actually is a detriment if there's too much going on, because people don't want to actually use the work, and they don't want to buy something they're not going to necessarily ever use. And so I think there is something to be said for slightly less appealing work for someone who's consuming it. Kind of, it hurts my heart to do it, but my college only had electric kilns, so I only did Cone 6 stuff back then too. Granted, I only did pottery for like 3 months before I graduated. Okay. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I like either of the ones that you said. There's a more than likely chance I'm just going to destroy them at some point. There's something about both of them that I don't like. One of them, well, whatever. Let's put some holes in them and go from there. I might like them more when they're softer, after they've been hit with a sponge and all that. I do think that this size is my current favorite thing to make. This size and double-walled. I'm really enjoying using them, and I'm enjoying making them. I have like one left that has the orange, like Jolly Rancher look on my website. It's this size and everything from my last wood firing, and no one's bought it yet, and so I think, obviously because it's still there, I think I'm gonna just keep it for myself, because I've been staring at it every time I go into my studio, or into my storeroom. I'm like, the piece is just so spectacular. I'm just, the color is just like, it's so, the photos don't do it justice. Like the little crazing in it, and the brightness, and it's like almost inorganic looking, and I love it. So I'm trying a new thing every Wednesday, or every Sunday. I mean, I'm gonna do like a live stream. All pottery communities are fantastic. They're the only people who I don't like are the art potters, and not all of them. Some of them are wonderful, but that's the ones that I'm wary of. That is pretty awesome. What school do you go to? Do you feel like sharing? Gotcha. Nice. Do you like it there? Oh, also, I don't know if you guys noticed, or I was putting like little windows in the base of the pots. Awesome. Glad to hear it. I was putting little windows in the base of the pots to kind of um, separate the holes and kind of break the line. And then I was going to put a little gold decal in them, but inside the window. But I mean, maybe I could buy decals that are smaller, but they'd have to be so small. Something I was kind of contemplating doing was buying sheets of like black underglaze decals of koi and then attaching it to this interior layer before we slot it in. Good, I'm glad to hear that. But I haven't quite figured out what we want to do yet. We're almost all the way around. So are you guys on Blue Sky? I'm trying to use it, but I just don't like it. I never liked Twitter, and it's the same thing. And I really don't get the appeal. I understand why people are doing it, or using it, but I'm having a hard time getting any enjoyment out of that app whatsoever. Oh? Would you mind sending me a message on Instagram with what the companies are, if possible? Yeah, it seems it's where everybody's flooding right now because they want to get off meta apps. Which I understand. I'm so burnt out with like changing social medias. I've started so many different types of social medias over the years, and it's just so time consuming and tiring. Thank you. All right, there's number one. And let's get number two, and then we'll soften up the holes. And then I'm probably out of time in here. So I have to, like I said earlier on, I have to take the kids skiing today. Actually don't know what time it is right now. I'm really hoping that I haven't been in here too long. Nice. Yeah, no, I don't. I have done that in the past, but I have at least with my clay body, it just tears apart if you try to do that. It's just not pliable enough with the amount that, like, you have to dry it to trim it enough to actually put it into the piece. At that point, it's already too dry to then kind of like maneuver anymore. So I haven't really come up with a solution that I'm happy with yet to increase milliliter size. So no, but yeah, I understand that dilemma. What would that be in Eastern time? Never been good at that conversion because I don't remember. I can never remember the time difference. Awesome, thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right, we have plenty of time then because we're almost done as well. Because I have to go pick them all up at 3 o'clock. So good. I'm glad. No rushing in here. I'm pretty psyched. We made 2 double-walled pieces in, it'll be under an hour by the time we're finished. It's only been 52 minutes and 30 seconds. That's not bad. It'll give me enough time to go have a fire outside as well. Because in the sun outside, it's only 27 degrees out. But in the sun, it's probably more like 35, 40, so that'll be nice. Thanks. I like the undulating lips so much more when I cut them, I've been noticing, than when I do my undulating technique. When I'm doing the single-walled pieces, to the point where I'm kind of contemplating maybe just cutting it on the single-walled piece moving forward. I don't really want to do that. I don't know why I don't really want to do that or why I'm so apprehensive about it. But I am for some reason. I will. The next time we do some single walled stuff, because the next firing is March 13th, and that's a soda firing. And then my firing in my wood kiln will be sometime early April, and then mid-April I have a Anagama firing with a kiln I've never been to before. So that'll be kind of cool. I don't know if it's a nice kiln, I don't know the results, blah, blah, blah. But, so I'm trying to just take my time and make these kind of things at the moment, because we can whip out 30 single wall pieces in the same amount of time it took to make these 2 pieces. So there's no rush on those. Cool. All right, let's soften the edges and see where we're at. It's chilly in here. It's chilly, little dog. Let me move my bag into the fire a little bit more. Oh gosh. We're almost done, sweet peanut. We're almost done. Okay. Can't decide what I want to put in each kiln though. I think the soda kiln, I don't have any interest in putting in any double-walled pieces. Though, what I will say is that the colder it is outside, the nicer the results that soda kiln produces. And so I might put some double-walled stuff in just because March is still chilly around here. So I might put some in and then not put none of that stuff in for the like summer firings. I'm also thinking about putting in some bigger bowls and maybe some double-walled plates to the soda kiln, just like not many of them. I think it'd be kind of cool. I know the double-walled plate is kind of silly because no one's gonna ever see the fact that it's double-walled. Because why would you ever pick the plate up and look at it? Unlike a cup or a bowl or any of that kind of stuff, it doesn't really serve a purpose. But I still kind of want to do it. I just want to make a few like 10-inch dinner plates that are double-walled. But I kind of want to make them out of stoneware, and I kind of want to fire them in an onigama or into a noborigama, because I would like some flashings on a double-walled piece like that. I think that could be really cool. Those are plates I made like 10 years ago at this point. So these will always get another sanding when they're bone dry, but I'm pretty happy with that actually. Oh, yeah, actually I do like that style of plate. That's a really smart idea. Thank you. I hadn't even thought about that. That's kind of the style of plate that I enjoy using myself, if I'm gonna use a plate anyway. Huh. Oh, you know what's really annoying, just speaking of stuff like that, double-walled stuff? I made these double-walled teapots the other day. I love them. Both of the double-walled lids cracked. It got too dry in the space that I put them, and they dried too quick, and they pulled apart. And lids are a nightmare to get accurate size-wise if you're taking measurements off of a different dryness. And so, like, I have no idea. I'm gonna have to make like 5 double-wall lids now to match, to make sure that one of them fits. It's pretty frustrating. Lids, like remaking a lid, anything else is fine, but that particular thing is a nightmare. I almost want to redo the complete teapots just to not have to make a lid that matches. But I'll probably do that on next Tuesday's TikTok live stream. Yeah, lids are rough. I mean, they're a challenging thing to get to fit properly. And so, I don't know. I've never in my life had an issue about that kind of stuff. Do you like the plates that are behind me? They're pretty nice plates, right? You like that plate? If someone could get behind me when there's a wall to my back, I would be impressed. And they deserve the murder, honestly. Good on them. All right, I'm happy. This one's more successful than this one, but I like the tall versus the squat. But you know what? What I've noticed over the years is that what I like more sells less. So I'm sure this one will sell before this one. I can almost guarantee it. So, all right, that's it for me. I'll be here. I'm going to try to stream every Tuesday on TikTok, and then I don't know how much I'll stream here until the weather gets warmer, but once the weather is warmer and I don't have to heat this place with wood, I'm going to alternate each day from TikTok to YouTube, back and forth from Monday to Friday. So, thanks. Yeah, they do. They're fine. Appreciate it. I know they're pretty icy, you know. All right, bye.